I've been a janitor at Courthouse for 20 years. When a billionaire's lawyer abandoned her mid-trial, she had 1 hour to find a lawyer. I will defend her. Her ex laughed. His lawyer smirked. Judge, you're a janitor? Yes. And I'll defend her. I've been cleaning the Monroe County Courthouse for 20 years. Started when I was 20. Needed a job, any job. Dropped out of high school at 16. No degree, no skills, just a strong back and a willingness to work. The courthouse hired me. Cleaning bathrooms, mopping floors, emptying trash cans in courtrooms where lawyers argued cases I didn't understand. I thought that's all I'd ever be, a janitor. But 20 years of listening changes you. I'm 40 years old. And I'm not just a janitor anymore. I'm a law student. Started night classes 2 years ago. Community college first, then state university, full scholarship based on age and income. 4 nights a week. After my shift ends, I sit in classrooms learning about tours and contracts and constitutional law. During the day, I study cases, real cases, happening in the very courthouse I clean. I know every courtroom, every judge, every lawyer. They don't know me. I'm just the guy who empties the trash, but I know them. And on a Tuesday morning in October, that knowledge saved someone's life. Well, saved her fortune, which for Marianne Bogart might have been the same thing. Have you ever been underestimated because of your job? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more stories about underdogs, second chances, and proving everyone wrong, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss our next story. I was cleaning the hallway outside courtroom 3B, inside Bogart vs. Hawkins, divorce case, high profile, the kind that makes the news. Marianne Bogart, fashion mogul, built an empire from nothing. Her brand, Bogart Couture, was worth close to $1 billion. Her ex-husband, Christian Hawkins, wanted half. They'd been married 10 years. He'd contributed, well, according to the filings I'd read, he'd contributed his charm. His name, his presence at Gallus, but money, business acumen, work, nothing. Still they were married, and this was a community property state, sort of. Marianne had a prenup, solid one. Christian would get $5 million generous, but nowhere near half. Christian was arguing the prenup was signed under duress, that Marianne had hidden assets, that he deserved more. His lawyer was expensive, aggressive. Marianne's lawyer was supposedly better. Adam Hart, big name, big firm. I'd seen him around the courthouse for 3 days. Expensive suit, confident walk. The kind of lawyer who knew he was good. But that morning, something was off. I was wiping down the water fountain when I heard raised voices in the courtroom. Judge Goodwin, angry. Mr. Hart, what point are you trying to make? Your Honor, I received a message this morning. I can no longer represent Ms. Bogart. Silence. Then you what? I'm withdrawing from the case. Effective immediately. Conflict of interest. Mr. Hart, we're in the middle of trial. Day 3. You can't just I can, Your Honor, and I am. I've sent Ms. Bogart notification. I'm sorry. Footsteps fast. Angry. The courtroom door burst open. Adam Hart walked out, face red. Didn't look at anyone. Didn't look back. Gone. I stood there, mop in hand, stunned inside the courtroom. Chaos I shouldn't have. But I opened the door, peeked in. Marianne Bogart sat at the defense table, alone, staring at her phone, face pale. Judge Goodwin was flipping through papers. Miss Bogart, did you know your attorney was withdrawing? She looked up. I got a text 5 minutes ago. He said he couldn't continue. Something about a conflict. But we've been working together for months. There's no conflict. I don't understand. Christian Hawkins sat at the plaintiff's table smirking. His lawyer, Gerald Vance, slick as they come, whispered something to him. Christian laughed. Judge Goodwin sighed. Miss Bogart, you need representation. I'm calling a recess. You have until 1 p.m. to find a new attorney. If you can't, we'll proceed without counsel. Your Honor, that's not fair. That's the law. 100 p.m. recess. The gavel hit. Everyone stood. Marianne didn't move. Just sat there staring at her phone. I closed the door, went back to my mop, but my mind was racing. Something was wrong. Adam Hart doesn't just quit mid-trial, not for a conflict of interest that suddenly appeared on day 3. Someone got to him, and I'd bet everything I had it was Christian Hawkins. I was in the janitor's closet, taking a break, eating a sandwich. My phone buzzed. Text from my professor, Jonathan Olson. Dan, lunch today? Usual spot. Jonathan taught my constitutional law class, but he'd become more than a professor. He was a friend, mentor, 70 years old, retired from active practice, but still taught, still loved the law. We met once a week, talked cases, talked theory. He treated me like a peer, not a janitor who happened to be in law school. I texted back, "Can't today. Something happening at the courthouse. Can I call you?" "Of course," I called. "Dan, what's going on?" "Professor, you know the Bogart case, the divorce. I've been following it. High stakes." "Why?" "Her lawyer just quit mid-trial. Says conflict of interest, but I don't buy it. That's highly unusual. I think the husband got to him, bribed him, threatened him, something. Do you have proof?" "No. Just instinct." "But professor, she's alone. No lawyer. Husband's attorney is shredding her. Judge gave her until 100 p.m. to find someone. What are the chances she finds a competent attorney in an hour and a half?" "Slim." "Exactly." Pause. Then, "Dan, what are you thinking?" "I'm thinking I know this case. I've read every filing, every motion. I've been following the trial. I know the law. I know the facts. Dan, I want to represent her." Silence. "Dan, you're a second-year law student. I know you've never argued a case. I know you'd be going up against Gerald Vance, one of the best divorce attorneys in the state." "I know." "Then why?" "Because she needs help. Because no one else will step up in time. Because I can do this." Long pause. "Dan, even if you wanted to, you can't. You're not licensed. But I could if I had supervision. Student practice rules. If a licensed attorney supervises me, I can represent her. You're licensed." "Dan, professor, please. I'm not asking you to do the work. Just be there. Supervise. Sign off. I'll do everything else. This is insane. Maybe, but it's legal and it's her only shot." Another pause longer. "Where are you?" "Courthouse. 3rd floor. I'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up. I stared at my phone. Then grabbed my mop and went to find Marianne Bogart. She was in the hallway sitting on a bench. Phone to her ear. "I understand you're busy. But I need representation today now." "Yes. I know it's short notice. No. I can't wait until next week. The trial is happening now." "Okay. Thank you anyway." She hung up, put her head in her hands. I approached slowly, but she was already making another call. It was call after call, negative after negative, and I couldn't find a way to interrupt. Professor Olson arrived. Gray hair, kind eyes, walked with a cane, but moved with purpose. I went to find him at the entrance. "Dan, you understand what you're taking on?" "Yes, Professor. Gerald Vance is very good. He won't go easy on you because you're a student." "I know." "Yo. And if you make a mistake, Miss Bogart pays the price." "I won't make mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. Then I'll fix them." Jonathan smiled, small, proud. "Okay, I'll supervise. But Dan, you're doing the work. I'm just here to make it legal." "Understood. I guess we need to go. It's already 1. We hurried to the courtroom that was already back at session. "Miss Bogart, you found representation?" Judge Goodwin asked Marianne, who looked desperate. "No, Your Honor, I couldn't. I can represent her." I heard myself talking. Everyone looked at me. Judge Goodwin looked surprised to see me and Professor Olson. Gerald Vance stood. "Your Honor, is this a joke?" "Mr. Vance, sit down." "Your Honor, this man is a janitor. He cleans this courthouse." "Mr. Vance," I said, "sit." Gerald sat, but he was smiling like he'd already won. Judge Goodwin looked at Marianne. "Miss Bogart, are you aware of this?" No, Your Honor, but honestly, if this man is qualified, I'll take it. I guess it's my best shot." He looked back at me. "What's your name?" "My name is Daniel Murray, Your Honor. I'm a law student." "You are a student?" "Yes, Your Honor. 2nd year, and I guess Dr. Olson is supervising." "Yes, Your Honor," Jonathan said. "I'm licensed in this state. I'm willing to supervise Mr. Murray under the student practice rule." "Have you reviewed the case?" "I've been briefed. Mr. Murray has been following the trial closely. He's prepared." The judge looked skeptical, but also maybe a little intrigued. "Mr. Murray, are you aware this is a complex case? High stakes?" "I am, Your Honor." "And you feel qualified to represent Miss Bogart?" "I feel prepared, Your Honor. Whether I'm qualified? We'll find out." A few people in the gallery laughed quietly. Judge Goodwin almost smiled. All right, we'll proceed. But Mr. Murray, I won't give you extra latitude just because you're a student. You'll be held to the same standards as any attorney in my courtroom. I understand, Your Honor. Good. Mr. Vance, call your next witness. Gerald stood, still smiling. Your Honor, the plaintiff calls Christian Hawkins to the stand. My stomach dropped. He was putting Christian on the stand, to testify about the prenup, about the hidden assets. This was it. My first witness cross-examination against the plaintiff himself. No pressure. Christian Hawkins took the stand, confident, handsome, suit perfectly tailored. He smiled at the jury like he'd already won. Gerald asked him questions. Softballs. Mr. Hawkins, how long were you married to Miss Bogart? 10 years. And during that time, what was your role in her business? I supported her emotionally, socially. I attended events, represented the brand, helped her network. Did you contribute financially? I managed the household, allowed her to focus on work. And when you signed the prenup, did you understand what you were signing? No, not really. Marianne, Miss Bogart. She pressured me. Said if I didn't sign, the wedding was off. I loved her. I signed. So you felt coerced? Objection. I said, standing, heart pounding, leading. Judge Goodwin looked at me. Sustained. Rephrase. Mr. Advance. Gerald smiled. How did you feel when you signed the prenup? Pressured, rushed. I didn't have a lawyer review it. I just signed. Thank you. No further questions. Judge Goodwin looked at me. Mr. Murray, your witness. I stood, walked to the podium, every eye in the courtroom on me. I looked at my notes at Christian, at the man who'd lived off Marianne's money for a decade and now wanted more. Mr. Hawkins, you said you didn't have a lawyer review the prenup. That's correct. But you had a lawyer present at the signing, didn't you? He hesitated. Yes. Provided by whom? By Marianne. But he was there to answer your questions, correct? I suppose. Did you ask him any questions? I don't remember. You don't remember if you asked the lawyer questions about a document that would determine your financial future? It was 10 years ago. Mr. Hawkins, did you read the prenup before signing it? I skimmed it. I nodded. Mr. Hawkins, you testified you managed the household during the marriage. What did that entail? I handled things, organized events, managed staff. How many staff? We had a housekeeper, a chef, a driver, and you managed them? Yes. Did you hire them? No. Did you pay them? No. Did you fire any of them? No. So, what exactly did you manage? He looked annoyed. I oversaw things. Mr. Hawkins, you testified you helped Miss Bogart network. Can you give me an example? I attended events with her, galas, fundraisers, and at these events, did you introduce her to business contacts sometimes? Can you name one person you introduced her to who became a business partner or client? Silence. Mr. Hawkins. I don't remember specific names. Not one. It was years ago. Mr. Hawkins. During the marriage, did you have a job? I was supporting Marianne's career. That's not what I asked. Did you have employment? A job where you earned a salary? No. Did you contribute any income to the household? No. Did you invest any money in Miss Bogart's business? No. Did you contribute any assets to the marriage? I contributed my time, my support, which Miss Bogart is compensating you for, to the tune of $5 million per the prenup. You claim you didn't understand. Objection. Gerald was on his feet. Argumentative. Sustained. Mr. Murray asked questions. Don't editorialize. My apologies, Your Honor. I looked at Christian. Mr. Hawkins, you claim Miss Bogart hid assets from you during the marriage. What assets? I believe she has offshore accounts, hidden investments. Do you have proof of these accounts? I've seen bank statements, documents. Where are these documents now? I don't have them. You don't have them? Marianne controlled the finances. I didn't have access. So you claim she hid assets, but you have no proof. I know they exist. How do you know? I know, Mr. Hawkins. Isn't it true that you're making these allegations because you're unhappy with the prenup you willingly signed? Objection. Overruled. Answer the question, Mr. Hawkins. Christian glared at me. I signed under duress. Where was this duress? You were in a lawyer's office with a lawyer present. You could have walked away. I loved her. I didn't want to lose her. So, you made a choice. You signed the prenup to marry a successful woman. And now that the marriage is over, you want to renegotiate that choice. That's not no further questions. I sat down, heart racing, hands shaking, but I'd done it. My first cross-examination, and I hadn't completely humiliated myself. Judge Goodwin called a 15-minute recess. I stepped into the hallway, legs weak, adrenaline still pumping. Professor Olson found me. Dan, that was excellent. I was terrified. You didn't show it. You were calm, methodical. You dismantled his testimony. He made it easy. He didn't have answers. Because you asked the right questions. That's the skill. Anyone can ask questions. Good lawyers ask the ones that matter. Marianne appeared. Mr. Murray. Dan. Please. Dan. That was impressive. I didn't expect. She stopped, collected herself. Thank you. We're not done yet. Vance will call more witnesses. I know. But for the first time in 3 days, I feel like someone's actually fighting for me. That's my job now. She smiled. Small, genuine. I'm glad you showed up. Back in session. Gerald Vance called his next witness. The plaintiff calls Sandra Kemp. A woman in her 50 took the stand. Well-dressed, composed. Miss Kemp, how do you know the parties in this case? I was Mr. Hawkins's assistant for 5 years during the marriage. And what were your duties? I managed his schedule, coordinated with Miss Bogart's team, handled correspondence. Did you have access to financial documents? Some I filed paperwork, organized receipts. Did you ever notice anything unusual about Miss Bogart's finances? Objection, I said. Vague. What constitutes unusual? Sustained. Be more specific, Mr. Vance. Did you ever see documents related to offshore accounts? Yes, I saw bank statements from accounts in the Cayman Islands, Luxembourg, Switzerland. Murmurs in the courtroom. I made notes fast. This was bad. If she actually saw documents, Christian had more than claims. And what did these statements show? Large sums of money. Millions that weren't disclosed in the marital asset declarations. Objection, I said. Foundation. How does this witness know what was or wasn't disclosed? Sustained. Miss Kemp, do you have personal knowledge of what Ms. Bogart disclosed? I know, but Mr. Hawkins told me jury will disregard. Gerald pivoted. Miss Kemp, do you still have copies of these documents? No, they were on Mr. Hawkins's computer. When he moved out, Ms. Bogart's legal team seized his devices. So, these documents exist, but Ms. Bogart's team took them. Objection. Speculation. Sustained. Gerald was getting frustrated. No further questions. Judge Goodwin looked at me. Mr. Murray? I stood. This was trickier. She'd planted a seed. Offshore accounts, hidden money. I needed to pull that seed up by the roots. Miss Kemp, you said you were Mr. Hawkins' assistant for 5 years. Yes. What were your qualifications for that position? She hesitated. I had experience in administrative work. So, when you saw these alleged bank statements, did you understand what they were? They were bank statements from offshore accounts. Did you verify they were real? What do you mean? Did you call the banks, verify account numbers, confirm the money actually existed? No. Did you have access to Miss Bogart's actual financial records? Her accountants, her tax returns? No. So you saw documents on Mr. Hawkins's computer, and you assumed they were real. They looked real. Miss Kemp, have you ever seen a photoshopped image? Objection, Gerald said. Relevance, Your Honor. It goes to the reliability of the witness's testimony. I'll allow it. Answer the question, Miss Kemp. Yes, I've seen photoshopped images. And sometimes they look real, don't they? I suppose so. It's possible these documents you saw were fabricated. I guess it's possible. Miss Kemp. How much was Mr. Hawkins paying you? I'm sorry. Your salary. How much did he pay you? $50,000 a year. And where did that money come from? She looked uncomfortable. I assume from household funds. Household funds provided by whom? I don't know. Ms. Bogart. Correct. She paid your salary. I suppose. So, you were being paid by Miss Bogart to assist her husband, and now you're testifying against her. I'm telling the truth. Are you? Or are you telling the story Mr. Hawkins wants you to tell? Objection. Withdrawn. No further questions. She left the stand. Rattled. Gerald looked less confident now. Gerald called his last witness. The plaintiff calls Dr. Kenneth Marsh. a man in his 60s, expensive suit, air of authority. Dr. Marsh. What is your profession? I'm a forensic accountant. I specialize in locating hidden assets in divorce cases. Oh no. Did Mr. Hawkins hire you to examine Miss Bogart's finances? He did? And what did you find? I found evidence of multiple offshore accounts, trusts in foreign countries, shell corporations. A pattern consistent with someone attempting to hide wealth. The courtroom buzzed. Marianne leaned close, whispered, "That's a lie. I don't have offshore accounts." "I believe you," I whispered back. "But we need to prove it," Gerald continued. "Dr. Marsh, how much money do you estimate Miss Bogart has hidden conservatively? $200 million. Gasps. No further questions. Judge Goodwin looked at me. "Mr. Murray." I stood, mind racing. This was Gerald's ace, an expert witness. Credentials. Authority. But something felt wrong. "Dr. Marsh, you said you're a forensic accountant." "Yes." "How long have you been practicing?" 25 years. "And how many times have you testified in divorce cases?" "Hundreds." "Dr. Marsh, you said you found evidence of offshore accounts. What evidence?" "Bank statements, wire transfer records, corporate filings." "Where did you get these documents from?" "Mr. Hawkins." "Did you independently verify them?" "I reviewed them for authenticity." "Did you contact the banks directly?" "That's not standard practice." "So, you relied entirely on documents provided by Mr. Hawkins?" "Yes." "Documents that could be fabricated?" "I assessed them for signs of forgery. They appeared genuine." "Appeared, but you didn't verify." "Objection," Gerald said, asked and answered. Sustained. "Move on, Mr. Murray." I changed tactics. "Dr. Marsh, are you familiar with Ms. Bogart's company, Bogart Coor?" "Yes. It's publicly traded, correct?" "Correct. Which means financial records are public." "Yes." "SEC filings, annual reports, audited financials?" "Yes." "Did you review those documents?" "I reviewed some." "Did you find any evidence of hidden assets in those public records?" "Public records wouldn't show hidden assets." "That's the point. But they'd show discrepancies, wouldn't they? If Miss Bogart was hiding $200 million, her company's financials wouldn't match her personal disclosures. Not necessarily if she's using shell corporations. Dr. Marsh, did you find any discrepancies in Bogart Couture's public financials?" Pause. "No." "So, the company's numbers are clean publicly?" "Yes." "And Ms. Bogart's tax returns? Did you review those?" "I requested them. Her legal team refused to provide them." I turned to Marianne, whispered, "Can we get your tax returns now? I have copies in my briefcase. I brought them in case Adam needed them." "Give them to me." She did. I turned back to Dr. Marsh. "Your Honor, may I approach the witness?" "You may." I walked to the stand, handed Dr. Marsh a thick folder. "Dr. Marsh, these are Miss Bogart's tax returns, last 10 years, audited by the IRS. Please, review them." He flipped through slowly. The courtroom was silent. "These appear to be standard returns. Any evidence of hidden income, offshore accounts, shell corporations?" "Not in these documents." "So the IRS with all their resources didn't find what you claim to have found." "The IRS doesn't always catch everything, but you did based solely on documents provided by a man with a financial motive to lie." Objection sustained. "Jury will disregard." But the damage was done. The jury looked skeptical now. No further questions. Gerald rested his case. Judge Goodwin looked at me. "Mr. Murray, does the defense wish to present witnesses?" "Yes, Your Honor." "The defense calls Marianne Bogart." Marianne took the stand, poised, calm. I walked her through her story, the business, the marriage, the prenup. "Ms. Bogart, do you have offshore accounts?" "No." "Do you have hidden assets?" "No." "Then how do you explain the documents Mr. Hawkins claims to have?" "They're fake. Christian fabricated them." "Why would he do that?" "Because he's angry. The prenup is ironclad. He'll get $5 million. That's generous. But he wants more. So he's lying." "Miss Bogart, if you're telling the truth, can you prove it?" "Yes, I brought my accountant. She can verify every asset I own." I called the accountant. She testified for 30 minutes. Detailed, thorough. Every asset accounted for. Every dollar disclosed. No offshore accounts, no hidden money. Gerald cross-examined hard, but she didn't budge. The numbers were clean. Closing arguments. Gerald went first. "Ladies and gentlemen, This is a simple case. Mr. Hawkins was coerced into signing a prenup. He's entitled to his fair share. Ms. Bogart hid assets to avoid paying him what he deserves. The evidence is clear. He sat. My turn. I stood, walked to the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vance is right about one thing. This is a simple case, but not for the reasons he says. I paused. Let that sink in. This is a case about a man who married a successful woman, lived off her money for 10 years, and now that the marriage is over, he wants more than he agreed to. The prenup isn't coercion. It's a contract. A contract Mr. Hawkins signed with a lawyer present. A contract he could have negotiated, could have walked away from. He didn't. He signed and now he's trying to void it. Why? Because he claims Ms. Bogart hid assets. But where's the proof? Fabricated documents. An expert who admitted he didn't verify anything. A prenup that's been audited by the IRS for 10 years with no red flags. Mr. Hawkins wants you to believe his story. But stories aren't evidence. And the evidence here is clear. Ms. Bogart disclosed everything. Followed the law. Honored the prenup. The only person trying to cheat the system is Christian Hawkins. And you have the power to stop him. Thank you. I sat down. The courtroom was silent. Then Judge Goodwin spoke. The jury will deliberate. We'll reconvene tomorrow morning for the verdict. Gavel. Next morning 1000 a.m. The jury filed in. I sat next to Mary Ann. Professor Olson behind us. My hands were shaking. I hid them under the table. Judge Goodwin addressed the jury. Have you reached a verdict? The foreman stood. We have, Your Honor. Please read it. In the matter of Bogart versus Hawkins, we find in favor of the defendant, Mary Ann Bogart. The prenuptial agreement is valid and enforceable. The plaintiff's claims of hidden assets are without merit. Mary Ann gasped, grabbed my hand. I exhaled. Didn't realize I'd been holding my breath. Judge Goodwin banged the gavel. The prenup stands. Mr. Hawkins is entitled to $5 million as specified. Nothing more. This court is adjourned. Christian stood, face red, furious, stormed out. Gerald Vance packed his briefcase, didn't look at us. Mary Ann turned to me, tears in her eyes. You did it. We did it. No. You did it. You saved me. You were incredible. Professor Olson stepped forward. Dan, I'm proud of you. That was exceptional work. Thank you, Professor, for supervising, for believing in me. You made it easy to believe. 1 week later, I was back at work mopping the courthouse floors. My phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, Dan. It's Mary Ann. Oh, hi. How are you? Good. Really good. I wanted to thank you again. And even though you refused the first time, I want to compensate you. It's more than fair. When my lawyer dropped the case, he also gave up the payment. So Dan, the $50,000 he would have received is yours. Those are not attorney fees yet. It would be illegal, but it's a gift that demonstrates my gratitude. Oh, no. I can't accept. You can and will. Please think of it as an incentive to continue your studies. Also, I wanted to make you an offer. An offer. You're graduating in 2 years, right? If everything goes well. Yes. When you pass the bar, I want to hire you as my corporate attorney. I almost dropped the phone. What? You're brilliant, Dan. You proved that. I want you on my team. Mary Ann, I'm just a student. I don't have experience. You had no experience a week ago, and you destroyed Gerald Vance. Imagine what you'll do with a law degree and experience. I don't know what to say. Say you'll think about it. I'll think about it. Good. And Dan, keep mopping those floors, but not forever. You're meant for other things. She hung up. I stood there, mop in hand. In the courthouse I'd cleaned for 20 years, and for the first time, I believed her. I was meant for more. 2 years later I graduated law school. Top 10% of my class, passed the bar on my first try. Mary Ann kept her promise. Hired me as corporate counsel for Bogart Couture. I have an office now. 23rd floor. Windows overlooking the city. Sometimes I look down at the courthouse. At the building I cleaned for 2 decades, and I remember the kid who dropped out of high school, the janitor who studied law at night, the student who stood up when everyone else walked away. Have you ever been underestimated because of your job? Which moment hit you hardest? When Dan offered to help Mary Ann? When he cross-examined Christian? When the jury delivered the verdict? Or when Mary Ann offered him a job? Share your thoughts, your underdog stories, and your moments of being underestimated in the comments below. If this story about defying expectations, fighting for justice and proving everyone wrong moved you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about underdogs, second chances, and refusing to let your circumstances define you. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you never miss our next story. Thanks for watching, and we see you in the next.